Since the dawn of civilization, spies of every nation and culture have worked to infiltrate their adversaries and glean the information that will give their side the advantage. The stakes are sky high, the strategies varied and imaginative, and the ultimate sign of success is that no one ever even knew you were there. In each episode, we will explore the moral and ethical gray zones of espionage, where treachery and betrayal go hand in hand with cunning and courage. This is the Spycraft 101 podcast. Welcome to your clandestine classroom. This is episode number 157 of the Spycraft 101 podcast. Joining me today is Luis Munar. Luis received his law degree from the University of Valencia in Spain and was a practicing attorney for nearly 20 years, beginning in 1998. He's also a certified pilot and served as a reserve officer in the Spanish Air Force. Luis also has extensive training and experience in security and human rights issues. In 2012, after traveling to Aleppo, Syria to build a refugee camp and help train guerrilla fighters there, Luis was recruited by the Spanish intelligence agency known as CNI to gather intelligence on their behalf in Syria. But despite his efforts and the risks that he took, the relationship eventually turned sour and left Luis very regretful that he'd cooperated with them at all. I invited Luis onto the podcast to discuss his experiences in Syria, both before and after he was recruited by the CNI, and what he did to rebuild his life and reputation in the years afterwards. But before we get into this story, I want to thank all my patrons over at patreon.com, including Jeff M. and Nathan H. If you're interested in supporting this program and all my other efforts, you can subscribe to my page at patreon.com. My patrons get exclusive access to long-form blog posts that dive deep into some of the most amazing stories in the history of espionage, and receive free or discounted books and products from the Spycraft 101 store. That includes a free PDF copy of my own first book, Spy Shots Volume 1, 101 True Tales from the World of Espionage. You can also listen to some of my exclusive podcast episodes where I review films and TV series from the espionage genre. Just click the link in the show notes of this episode to see some of my free articles there and sign up for more exclusive content as well. Luis, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to stay here with you. Thank you to you.
I'm glad to hear it. Of course, I'm glad to have you. I have not had the opportunity before today to speak with anyone who's worked in Syria, so I'm really happy for the chance to hear directly about it from you.
Yes, for me, I am happy too because I had a very heavy life after my return from Syria.
I can tell. I've read a few articles and some of the things that you've written as well, and it seems like a very difficult path. So I definitely want to get into the consequences of everything that has happened for you since then. Can you tell me a little bit about your life before you actually arrived in Syria? I think it was in 2012.
Yes, of course. I would first like to apologize to your listeners for my bad English. I am very untrained. My first contact with military life, my father and my grandfather was colonels of the Spanish Army. And my first contact was as lance corporal. After I studied pilot and laws, after go to Air Force as an officer, and had working in a defense staff in Madrid. I left the Air Force and began to do my work as a lawyer and insurance company vice president. But while I was studying military and security in my free time, by courses, seminars, even a master's degree, I voluntarily left my work in insurance company for values and principles questions and went to study to Israel about security first and after with special units, Janam, Sayeret Matkal. I tried to open a security company in Spain. I was 47 years old, and really was totally impossible to open the company. And Syria arrived. I am very idealistic and coherent man, I try to be, and the people usually say that I'm from another galaxy.
I see. So you decided to travel to Syria just after watching the civil war play out on the news or something like that? I mean, what was it that made you decide to become involved?
My first reaction was that, as you know, all the channels, CNN, in Spain, TV1, in France, TF1, the wars began and all the people are with the Syria war. And in the videos in TV, I was watching how very young people died because they didn't know how to use a weapon, and have a lot of people weakness. And my first travel was in 2012. I wanted to change the stars, as I told you. Before I was training 1 year in Israel, and I want, as I told you, my own security company. I had military education. I felt that I must learn to the better and go to Israel, and was 1 year. And when I finished my studies in Israel, I contact with an ONG from Syrians and told them that I want to support them in building refugees camp in the border between Syria and Turkey in a little village that named Atima. Is really a miracle.
Right. So I know that there were a huge number of refugees at that time. And when you went, did you intend to help with planning or with construction, or did you go right into training people with your military skills initially?
Yes, my first actions in Syrian country was the construction of the refugees camp. Was very complicated because have 10,000 people, a lot of kids and old people. We have to build the cars, the homes of the people.
Oh, sure. Bathrooms and plumbing and
Yes,
everything.
all these things. And when I was doing this, usually the Arab people is very open, and in Spain we say chismosa. They like to speak a lot, and they knows that I was military formation, and they went to me and told me, please, we know that you was several time ago a military officer, and we didn't know anything about the war, and please, I ask you support us. And I'm romantic and stupid and support them. They are good people, moderates, not as ISIS or Al Qaeda. My heart was broken. My spirit said to myself, help them, help them.
Okay. Okay, I see. So you mentioned that they were moderates. My understanding is that there were lots of different groups fighting in Syria at the time, but they kind of coalesced and became the Free Syrian Army, like many groups became one large group. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. It's correct. The revolution, because the Syrian war began as the Egyptian revolution, Libyan revolution, a minority of the population was taking the government long time ago, and the people want to be freedom,
Hmm.
and they began to protest against the Bashar al-Assad government, and he didn't stop the protest with normal tools of the police, gas or another tools. They repressed it with shoots, and a lot of
Hmm.
people began to death, wounded, and a lot of people of the Sunni Muslims escaped to the army, steal weapons, and began the war.
Okay, okay, I see. So it was mostly Sunnis then that you were helping, and I
Yes,
take it Assad is Shia Muslim leader.
yes, Shia.
Okay,
He
I
is
see.
Shia, and Shia are 10% of the total population of Syria.
Ah, okay, I see. So the Shia minority was
Yes,
in charge then.
and Sunni are 90%.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Luis, at the time that you traveled there, were you the only person from Spain who was there? You went by yourself and you were just helping as an individual at the beginning?
Yes, yes. I am as the United States Police. I want to serve and protect kids,
Ah,
women, older people, and so on. And I take my money and go with this ONG to build the camp. And when I stay there, in that moment, a very big fraction group of Free Syrian Army called to me to help them. And yes, it's okay. It's okay. They are recognized by the international community, by the United States, by Germany, France, Italy, United Kingdom, Spain. No problem. And when I was with
hmm,
with them, I can feel that they are not radicals.
I see. I see. And you were right there with them every day, so you were able to make that judgment with your own eyes and ears.
Yes.
Okay. So I have seen a photo of you, and it looks like you're training some of the rebels to shoot rifles. Is that what you ended up doing with them, training them in these like small arms and tactics and that sort of thing?
The picture was training not to shooting. Shooting is easy. Full the magazine and shoot. I was shooting urban warfare
Mm,
because was the tactics, the doctrine, the movements that I was learning in Israel. But I should to learn again. But I had a base that I take in Israel, and I was showing them how approach a building and don't shoot ta 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 ta
hmm hmm
to reserve ammunition.
Oh, okay,
eh?
sure, sure. I understand. Shooting single fire.
Train to use grenades, RPG. Konkrus is a anti-tank Russian missile. Strela is a Mampats anti-aircraft missile. Sita US-23 is a double cannon 23 millimeters
Oh,
anti-aircraft.
yeah.
All these things I had to teaching them, but the most important was how to use, when to use, in what place you have to put this, because the planes, for example, flying very high was impossible
hmm
to hit. They need a doctrine and a tactic to fall down the aircrafts.
I see.
But it's logical that the photograph take the picture, and in that moment I was with Kalashnikov because I was showing them how approaching. If you remember the picture, have a green roof behind me was a
hmm
mosque. We use the mosque to practice the approximation. How do you enter? Not in the building, in the outside of the building, and after in the building, how you enter in the rooms, how you move on the stairs, and all these things.
Okay, I see. So they needed training in almost everything. Then they were willing, but they did not know what to do.
Yes, because all the rebels was university people, and in the Finnish courses of the high school, few professional militaries, very few. I remember that the leader of the group was called Al Farouq Al Shamal, was a captain, and Sunni captain. It
hmm
was logical that of the Sunnis was with the very old weapons, with no maintains weapons to protect Bashar al-Assad against them rebel to him.
hmm Okay,
The military leaders don't have idea as
I
to
see.
fight.
I see. Okay, and this photo that we mentioned earlier, this is when you came to be noticed by a lot of different people when this photograph and this story was published, right? Is that when CNI learned that you were in Syria? Was after the article came out?
Yes, this photograph was taken when I did my first travel to Syria to build the camp and the first training to rebels. Obviously, they read the papers because the article was published in France press agency
Hmm.
and called to me. Oh, we are very interested in talk with you because yes, they touch my military heart and I was talking with them.
Okay, I see. And what did they ask you to do for them? Did they want you to go back to Syria as soon as possible, for example?
Yes, they told to me we closed it, the embassy a long time ago. We have not anybody in the ground battle, and your homeland need your service
Hmm.
clearly. And
Hmm.
I told at your orders, I want to serve my homeless and the weak people. I am
Hmm.
as Don Quixote. Do you know
Oh yeah,
Don
Don Quixote.
Quixote?
Yeah.
Really, this war was a very particular war because, as you say at the beginning, have a lot of work groups. Also have tribal groups, mafias from Lebanon, from Turkey, from Syria, and Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda was named Jabhat al Nusra. That is the name that Al Qaeda in Syria. After the ISIS crossed the border between Syria and Iraq, began to participate in the war as another enemy. The rebels was fighting against the regime and against the Islamic State.
Yeah, the situation was extremely
It's
complicated
very
and
complicated.
changing quickly.
You move across the road with a weapon, and you didn't know his friend, his enemy is like in a far west. The
Hmm.
first shoot win.
Oh yeah.
Terrible, terrible. I went to Syria a lot of times to fulfill the several missions that had been assigned to me. I want to say that if I have time to spare, I help those who are known as Assyrians. I explain you in a minute what is these people are Syrian Christians who are
Hmm.
located in the Kurdish dominated area. Halsaka, Kwamisli. When I was free time, I go to Kwamisli to serve these people because are Christian like me. As you know, the entrance of the Islamic State was very near of this department of Al-Hasaka. Was a very heavy fighting. As I said, I am on that oath to serve my homeland, even with my death also. I believe in honor, sacrifice, dedication for others because we live in a world that in Spain we say yoísmo. I want all of myself to myself, myself,
Hmm.
and forgot the other people.
Hmm. Yeah, but you were focused mainly on the others and putting yourself at risk the whole time.
Yes, yes, because as a military, it's like military in United States or police or firefighters. I have in my heart that I was born to serve others. My father was military. My
Hmm.
grandfathers too was military officers. The
Hmm.
fathers of my grandfathers, my blood didn't see as red. It's green, or in my case, blue, because I was a firefighter pilot.
Hmm. So, Luis, you mentioned a minute ago, you said that you're Christian. I believe you are Catholic,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
And you're working very closely with the Sunnis. And
yes,
you also had spent time in Israel right before you came to Syria. So,
yes.
did any of this
No,
lead to them to mistrust you, or was anyone suspicious of you as a Catholic in Syria?
Yes, at the beginning, they asked to me, help us, please. I went to them, training during 3 months, free. They are very distant, very quiet. I sleep in a room alone because after the new leader, because the captain was dead in a battle of for the 46 Special Forces Brigade of the Syrian Army, and lieutenant that not was professional, was an university that was doing the military service as lieutenant in the Syrian Army. They say to me at the beginning, we thought that you are a spy, but we want to take your knowledge and your experience. But when I saw that the planes selling us and all my people running to cross the Turkish border and falling the bombs from artillery and the army shoot you and you defend us, I was convinced that you really have a great heart.
Hmm.
It was very similar to, you remember Lawrence of Arabia?
Yes, of course.
I gained their hearts because they
Hmm.
escaped and I was very afraid. My brain said to my legs, run, 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 run. But I feel inside me, you are Spanish, you are army officer, and you are a bullfighter. You stay here.
Wow, wow, wow. And that's what you did. I know, because you didn't just stay at the refugee camps or the training camps. I know that you were in a lot of danger. You went into combat
Yes,
with them and you were wounded
yes,
as well,
because
right?
for the intelligence at first times, Intelligence National Center, Spanish ME5, need a lot of information. And I was embedded in this group. I was to go with the group. The group went to Aleppo. I went with the group. The group went to Idlib. I went with the group, or to Hama, Deir ez-Zor, all these places, and I taking information, taking the telephone, the mobile telephone of
Hmm.
the deaths from ISIS, from Al Qaeda, from other radical groups as Al Tawahid, because another the characteristics of this war was that if the target was succulent, was, how do you say, they fight together. Okay,
Hmm.
very big target, fight together. The group Al Farouq moderate, the Kurds moderate, and the group Jabhat al Nurra, Al Qaeda, radicals,
Hmm.
hmm, fight together, conquer the place, taking the weapons. And when they ended, they repaired the treasure, weapons, food, tanks, cannons, all the things, and began to fight between ones to another's.
Oh, wow. Wow. I see.
Was a
Okay.
lot of
So it's a
wars
temporary
in a
alliance.
war.
Hmm.
Yes, and I move with them. We move in the night without lights from a road, and for me was very scared with them at 120 kilometers per hour without lights from the road, that fighting in several streets of any city of Syria.
Oh, wow. 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 And all of this time, how are you helping the Syrians during these battles? Are you fighting alongside them or are you helping in some other way?
No, we have, for example, I was fighting in Aleppo city when
Hmm.
the government only have the airport and near the airport. The rest of the city was in hands of rebels, several groups. The group with Al Farouk, one Salahadin neighborhood, for example.
Hmm.
The Jabhat al-Nusra group take the officers infantry academy in Aleppo. And I was fighting more than 1 month in the streets of the city near the airport, because the airport was the stronghold point of the government there, and was impossible. Never conquer the airport.
I see. Luis, a minute ago you mentioned that you were taking phones from the dead fighters. Were you just looking through the phones yourself, or did you have to give them to someone? I
No,
mean,
no, no.
how was that useful?
I take the phone, extracting the card, and put in my pocket.
Okay, okay, I see. And you just gave that back to CNI later?
Yes, yes, yes. When I finish my mission, for example, go to Aleppo to locate people from Spain, from Ceuta. You know that we have two places in the North Africa, Ceuta and Melilla, two cities
Hmm.
that when Spain was a great potence, we take two cities, and these cities are in Morocco, near Morocco. The people was Muslims. And a lot of Muslims from these cities went to Syria to fight, in principle, with rebels, but at the end was fighting with Al Qaeda and after with Islamic State. And I have to locate Spanish or British or American, South American
Hmm.
foreigners in the place.
I see. I see. Did they want to know where they were or if they were alive or dead, something like that?
Yes, yes, yes. For example, several missions was to look for centers that was using as reception centers of the fighters from
Hmm.
outside of Syria, Islamic State recruiting centers to cross-boardings that illegal, non-legal cross-boardings, several missions like this, locate positions of Islamic State, weapons deposits of Islamic State and Jabhat al-Nusra, and I, with my phone, I take a picture on the ground.
Before we go on, I want to tell you all about a new podcast from Tenderfoot TV called To Die For. Imagine you were a fly on the wall at a dinner between the Mafia, the CIA, and the KGB. That's where this unprecedented podcast begins. Brought to you by the makers of the hit podcast To Live and Die in LA, To Die For marks the first time a Russian trained honey trap has told her story from beginning to end. Taught to seduce men for their secrets and sometimes their lives, Alia Rosa was trained to believe that her body no longer belonged to her. It belonged to the state. She was meticulously trained to be the perfect weapon, able to seduce her targets into compromising situations that have ended careers and sometimes lives. From Tenderfoot TV, the studio that brought you Up and Vanished, and To Live and Die in LA. Make sure you check out To Die For, available beginning on March 26th, wherever you get your podcasts.
When I crossed the border to Turkey in a hotel, I connected my phone to my portable computer, and if you have in your phone the localization, you take the coordinates in the picture. And I take the coordinates, latitude, longitude, by phone, by WhatsApp from Turkey, sent to Madrid. And one I remembered that one time they called to me and, oh, you have a very, very good work. We give the coordinates to Americans and they shelling big deposit, weapons deposit of Islamic State.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge contribution to taking out Islamic State. In that case,
Yes,
destroying their weapons
yes,
dumps from your
yes,
intelligence.
yes. At the end,
Incredible.
I have to escape because my intelligence service, I don't know if you know, but they burned me.
Yeah, how did that happen exactly?
They burned to me, and all the people wants to kill me. Regime, Sabija, that is a paramilitary group, the Syrian intelligence service, Islamic State, Jabhat al-Nusra, Al Qaeda, Turkish secret service.
Mm. Hmm.
and finished. I was wounded in Aleppo battle, for example, but in battle, not because somebody was persecuting me.
Yeah, you got a head injury, I think, right? You were came close to dying, didn't you?
Very heavy battle with artillery, mortars, tanks, even tanks, and one T-72 shoot near us, and I remember myself flying, not noise or silence, and is as you lose all your lost consciousness.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Still lost. Is the adrenaline, I suppose. I take my weapon and continue to fight. And two of the boys of the groups told to me, Luis, you have a lot of blood on your head. And I touched my head. And yes, it was true. And they take to me in a pickup and went to a place, not hospital, because all the hospital was destroying by the shellings of the government, and a man with a white. He put something with pressure in my head because they don't have to do suture in order to stop the bleeding.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
of course.
but
Hmm.
outside, return to the combat.
Hmm. Wow, wow, incredible that you survived that.
Yes, no, incredible, a miracle. I am
Yeah.
Catholic. I know all the things that I have to be, have to see, have to do. My guard angel have a lot of work. Yes, I promise to
Yeah, it
you. I
sounds like it.
was. It's really not kidnapping, but it's like a kidnap because I was in 5 days in a place that was controlled by the Islamic State, and the leader was a man that put one of the bombs here in Atocha in Madrid in 11 March. You
Oh yeah.
remember that attacks here in
Hmm.
Spain in the train stations?
Hmm.
One
Was
of
that 2007 or
yes,
what
yes,
year was that?
but
Yeah.
one of the men that was captured here in Spain and was to the court and was condemned, sentenced to 2,000 years of
Hmm.
jail, but had a mistake in the documents, and the police should to, how do you say, to return this man to Syria. And when I was in Syria,
Oh yeah.
they called one to my fixers and saying, I know that you are with the Spanish men that are helping you. I want to speak with him because I know how to speak Spanish. And I went because I speak to Spain, talk with my boss of intelligence service, and my boss told to me, ask the name of this man. I asked to my fixer, what is the name of this man? My fixer told to me, Basel Gayum. I told to my boss, Basel Gayum, and I remembered in this mission, I don't have to cross the border. Was a mission only in
Hmm.
Turkish border, but when I gave the name to my boss, he said immediately, cross the border, contact with this man. I crossed the border and I was 5 days with this man that was a ISIS leader, but I'm not handcuffed, is correct? Free movement inside the building. But when I said I want to go to a walk outside, not possible. I have to go outside with this leader and two peoples with Kalashnikov. And I take advantage of this man because he was very religious as a radical. And every 3 days they go to mosque to pray. And the building was with one guard. When I take a weapon, AK, disarm the guard, and escape with one of my friends.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yes.
Did you have to flee Syria for good? Was that your last time in Syria then?
No, I returned.
Oh wow. Wow, wow,
Spain
wow.
is different, you know. Here I am
Hmm.
60 years old now. And when I was young, the foreigners, the tourists that came to Spain, all say that, yeah, Spain is different. And today, Spain is different. Yes, I have to return to Syria. My boss say to me, go. This mission, for example, the journalist that was kidnapped, to
Hmm.
take information, to know how are they or where are they and who have them. I have a lot of contacts and I win the respect of the people, moderates and even radicals. And
Hmm.
for a Muslim is very important the respect and the protection of the other group of Muslims. It's like in Afghanistan. It's very similar. The
Hmm.
hospitality, you know?
Yes, yeah, sure. So you helped to negotiate the release of these European journalists?
Yes, I risked my life to rescue six Spanish journalists. Three at the first 2015 was kidnapped by Islamic State, like my friend James Foley, Jimmy Foley. I knew him.
Hmm.
Was from United States. Was a very good man, very good journalist, but very good man. I mean, with a heart, with a feeling, with a soul. The Spanish intelligence service is very stupid. Sorry, but it's true. It's true because I was to take intelligence in Syria without any training.
Yeah,
I had no
yeah.
training to intelligence. I have my training as military officer and my courses in Israel, okay, but not intelligence. I like to, in Spain, we say, búscate la vida, save your life and give me the information. I only want this. And they
Mm.
gave me 1,500
Hmm.
euros a month for
Oh wow.
this.
Okay. This is incredibly dangerous work, and it's only 1,500 euros a month.
Yes, but as I told you, I am a man with values, with oaths to my country, with faith. My faith says that I have to serve
Hmm.
Muslims, good Muslim, of course, to serve Buddhist, to serve atheist, to serve Christians, Catholics, to serve.
Hmm. Wow. So you were able to help negotiate the release of all of the journalists. They all made it back to Spain.
Not negotiate because I am not expert. My intelligence service is stupid, but not too stupid. I localized the journalists and I did the first communications with the kidnappers. And
Ah.
when I obtain a live proof, I take to the intelligence service. Obviously, obviously, with the last kidnappers journalist, I felt very, very bad because my intelligence service not support me. And the kidnappers that was Al Qaeda, Jabhat al Nusra, wrote to me, the next picture that I will find to you of your friends, they are taking the newspaper with the mouth because I cut their hands.
Oh
And I
wow.
called to my intelligence service, please support me. They told me I never was negotiating to any kidnap or take intelligence, but not negotiate as a negotiator.
I see.
I never
I
did
understand.
it. And for example, as I told you, I had to return to Syria after I was 5 days with this man, Basel Gayoun, leader of Islamic State. And I had to return to contact again with this man.
Hmm.
And I told to my boss, but you are crazy? You are stupid? I have to escape. No, no, no problem, Luis. You contact and say to him that went to Turkey. Ah, you are very intelligent and not problem in near the border to Turkey. No, no, you are very. They give you a lot of beauty words. You are extraordinary. You can. You understand me?
Oh, yeah, very flattering. Yes.
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 And I take again contact with this man. The
Hmm.
man went to Turkey and stayed to Turkey 1 month because as a big leader of Islamic State, he moves the money. And Islamic State have a lot of business in Turkey to water money.
Hmm.
I take the confiance of this man and
Hmm.
I was preparing to do a work with this man because was a cancer. They kill 200 people in my country. They participate in this attack on the train station of Atocha.
Hmm.
And I, as a good military officer, asked permission to my boss, and he said to me, no, we are not this type of people. Oh, and I told to him, I am ashamed. I am ashamed to be Spanish. Oh, I wish to be American. If I was American, I could do a work and this man
Hmm.
disappeared of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
But
Wow, and Spain would not allow you to do so.
no, they pay, ever pay.
Hmm.
You know, because 6 journalists was kidnapped, because all the bad people from Syria, Jabhat al-Nusra and ISIS, the two groups that kidnapped the journalist, knows that Spain pay a lot of euros, 13 millions
Oh my gosh.
euros, but also knows that United States don't pay, Japan don't pay, British don't pay, and what happens? They cut his neck, as Jimmy Foley, for example.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that was terrible. I remember that.
No, I have bad experience with the journalist, with Spanish journalist. One that was called Antonio Pampliega, and I was the man that began his rescue. And when he came back to Spain, he made a serious and false statements about me. These declarations ruined my life. I never
Mm.
found any work here in Spain. I should to go to Latin America.
Hmm. So, why did it make it so difficult for you to work in Spain after this information came out that you had been in Syria?
You are youngest than me, but
Hmm.
I think that very near generation, you and me. The new
Hmm.
generation of people, the young people, they don't have a brain, don't think. They not take information of another size and ask
I see.
to themselves, is true? Is a lie? No, no, no. And I was in Syria. I have photos, had articles. I
Mm.
cannot to lie, but I cannot to explain because I was working for a secret service.
I see. I see. Because they did not know anything about your work with CNI for many years.
No, 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 no. For
I see.
nothing.
I see.
I offered all my experience because at the end, 3 years, something you learn about intelligence in first line is
Hmm.
the better way to learn. but nobody wants because I don't know. Pues the people maybe thought that I was a terrorist or a crazy man, or I don't know. I don't know.
I see.
I only want to serve, to be coherent with my faith, with my values, with my principles, and I must to forgive because I must to imitate Christ.
Hmm. I understand. So when did your relationship with CNI end? Was it when you left Syria for the last time?
When the rescue of the last journalist was ending good, when the journalist in summer of 2015, in summer
Okay.
of 2015, when I finished, took the life proof of the journalist and take to them all the information. They told to me, Luis, thank you very much. You are a hero. You are the best. And hasta luego, Lucas.
That was it. They don't need you anymore.
Yes. No.
Wow.
And I had
Okay.
a high fury moments because, yes, I was also a post-traumatic stress disorder, and I should to go to a doctor. I have terrible. Well,
Wow.
as like your veterans of Vietnam or other wars, and here you don't have any support, not
Hmm.
money, not health, not psychological, not even my brothers in arms of the Spanish army look to me as a traitor.
Oh,
Is
wow. Yes,
yes,
that's the word. Wow.
yes. Only that people that knows me well, as for example, now one is a general of the Spanish army, not Air Force, but is my friend too. But the majority to me like an enemy, and the society, even the society. And I was very angry, very with nightmares, fury. Why the people don't want understand? I was serving to them.
Hmm. Hmm.
For example, a couple of young people that was working with two little kids for the street and stop in a bar and take a beer, and I think in myself, you can do this because I was fighting for you in Syria.
Hmm.
But what was my treasure? Pesadilla, nightmare, no? It was a
Nightmare.
nightmare,
Yeah.
a hell.
Man, that is sad. That is a shame. So, Luis, you had to keep quiet for many years about your work with CNI, but when did you decide to speak about it publicly?
Few time ago,
Oh, just recently?
yes, have to go to Latin America because in Israel I had contacts with military officers of several armies in South America, and at first contact you talk with, you go to take a beer, and at the end as like a friendship, and came to hear that you can find work. And yes, true, I was more or less 4 5 5 years working in South America, but I not change myself. I continue to be honest, to believe in honor, sacrifice, all these values and principles, and have problems in civil life too. Why? Because corruption in South America, you know?
Oh, of course.
And I
Sure. Sure.
never give money and receive money from corrupt people because my God is the truth, the life, and the light. And I
Hmm.
want to be to heaven. it's my it's my last opportunity because my life really since I was born was very bad because I am the all of four brothers, and my
Hmm.
father was very strong, very strong with me, and the life was very strong with me. Why? Because I have these old values or principles, or maybe I am an alien from Mars. I don't know. I don't know. And I returned in 2022 from South America and take the same problem that I had 4 years ago, not work. And here in Spain, you have to work until you are 67 years old. I am 60.
Hmm.
I wrote a book in Spanish about some history that I was talking with you, published it in Amazon, but only in Spanish because as you can see, my English is very, very bad. But in Syria was very, very good because all the Muslims speak English as me. We understand very, very good. Yes, and I think to myself, have a long time ago, and I have to survive.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Do you think, Luis, now that you are talking about this publicly, do you think that CNI or the Spanish government will do any more for you, or have they abandoned you forever?
They abandoned me forever. And even I want to say, you asked me your permission, that I did, when I was studying in Israel, I did a work for Israel government
Hmm.
about to found the weakness of the military defense and police defense. And I give to the government my report. They give me a letter, very good letter, with his thanks for this work, Luis, and a picture signed by Ehud Barak, that was a
Hmm.
defense minister and the
Hmm.
most condecorated soldier of the Israel Defense Forces. I'm stupid. At the end, you arrive at this conclusion because all my life serving the others, and I hope to, when I died, to find my reward by when you have a picture with the face of a man, reward by $1,000.
Oh, yes, the wanted poster.
Yes,
Wanted poster, yes.
yes, no.
Hmm.
They didn't talk to me, never. Even when I was in South America, I still maintain my contacts in Syria. And a German prayer, was Christian but not Catholic, was kidnapped, and immediately my fixers contact with me. And I called to Madrid from Bogota and say to him, I don't have to do it, but I have to think first in this man and his family. I can help to you with this kidnap. No, 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 no.
Hmm.
The boss told to me, don't touch. Forgot it. And at the order, sir. Yes, sir. And not contact no more.
Wow, man. Luis, you've had a tough road. It's been very difficult for you these past few years.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Well, I have proofs because I believe in the Holy Spirit as a good Christian, not Catholic, because the other Christian believes in Holy Spirit too. And when I began my work with the Intelligence National Service in Spain, I decided, because in my head, somebody told me, record all, record all. And I have all the conversations with the CNA members, with my fixers, with my contacts, with all body recorded, because this is my intelligence service. I put a t-shirt with a pocket in my,
Oh, the chest pocket?
yes, in the chest pocket,
Hmm.
and record in the recording of the movie of the telephone. And when I
Hmm.
finished all, I have papers because contact also by email, by telegram, by WhatsApp. By email was encrypted, but I have the key to disencrypt it, and all I was taking copy for me, copy for me, copy for me. I put all in a big memory. I
I
have
see.
to buy several hard drives. I
Hmm.
give to several people. If I died in strange circumstances, public,
My gosh.
public. Hmm,
Wow.
yes.
Do you think that they would do that, Lewis? Are you at risk right now?
I don't know, but in Spain, we are very of reference, and I did for this, for my homeland, I for the good people of the world, all less to be a war,
Hmm.
Justin. The other
Incredible.
things, I did all. I was wounded, I was kidnapped by these men, I was crossing the borders with the gendarme shooting to me, and on the other side, the Islamic State shooting too. And a lot of things, we can stay talking hours and hours and
I
hours.
bet. I bet.
No, but that is the life. Well, I always be a resilient man. I fall, but I stand
Hmm.
until my God wants.
Incredible. Wow. Well, Lewis, this has been incredible, and I wish you the best of luck. I know that it's been very difficult for you.
No, I am proud to do it for the people, for the human good people. Because at
Hmm.
the end, you did the things for it, not for your homeland. It's more than your homeland. It's the good people, the people with heart, the young kids that have projects to be something in the life. For me,
Mm,
is enough. I have a very particular life.
I see. I see. Incredible. Well, Lewis, this has been an amazing conversation. I know that I do have some listeners who speak Spanish and read Spanish. So, what is the name of your book on Amazon right now?
Yes, the name is Syria point carne de cañón,
Carne de
cannon
Cañon.
fodder.
Okay.
Syria
Cannon fodder.
point
Oh, wow.
cannon fodder. Well, it's the truth. That's the
All for the homeland.
title of the book in ebook and in paper too,
Okay, fantastic.
as you
We'll
want.
put a link to that in the show notes for this episode for those of you who read Spanish. Lewis, do you have plans for an English translation perhaps one
Oh,
day?
will be good for me. No, I have to survive, but I am more interested in that the people knows that have people more than I'm sure, but I risk my life and be proud for them.
Okay, well, thank you, Lewis. This has been an incredible talk. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to hear from you. I'm definitely going to follow along with your story. Do you have a website or pages on social media for people to follow along your story now?
No, still not, Justin.
Okay,
Only the book.
okay, just look for the book.
I'm sure that I was born to serve them,
Okay,
and
fantastic.
I'm proud.
Well, Luis, thank you so much. I really
Thank you
appreciate
to
your time, and
you.
we'll definitely stay in
It
touch.
was a pleasure. I'm so sorry for my very, very bad English.
Don't worry about it at all. This is a great story, and I know that people love to hear it.
That in Syria was beautiful English.
Mm. Yes, it served you well there.
Yeah. Goodbye,
Fantastic.
and thank you very much, Justin. It's a pleasure, an
All right.
honor to talk with you, and all my best regards to your listeners.
Okay. Thank you so much, Luis. Take care.
Bye bye, Justin.
If you're interested in more of Spycraft 101, look for my page on Instagram at Spycraft 101. You can also find more great articles on my website, spycraft101.com. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you'll stick around because there is lots more to come.
Disclaimer: this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not reflect the views of the host or the production studio. It's okay if you disagree with our content. No piece of media is right for everyone. If you love Spycraft 101, please check us out online, on Instagram, on YouTube, and especially on Patreon. Thank you for listening.